Before I get into my story is a little bit different. It's a very personal story, and although it involves aviation, it's about the morning of 9/11, and I want to tell you what happened to me, where I was. It definitely relates to aviation. First, I want to thank, this is very important to me, I live in Washington, D.C. My home of record is here in Las Vegas, and that morning of 9/11, I was trying to get here to home. I don't get back here too often. I'm still flying at American Airlines. I fly out of Washington National Airport. And I spend, unfortunately, most of my time there. But the day will come when I'm going to be here permanently. But I want to tell you how honored and humbled I am to be in this room tonight with you folks. True professionals, just by the people I've met, the things I've already heard. I'm looking forward to spending a lot more time here with you in Las Vegas. Also want to thank Joe Otto and my dear friend Ken Ward for introducing me to this wonderful group. Thank you very much. The morning of 9/11, I'm not going to take too much time, but I want to tell you what happened. Actually, my story starts in August. A very strange month for me personally. A lot of things happened to me. I'm flying with American Airlines. I had a business here in Las Vegas. I was getting ready to start it up in September, so I'm trying to get out here to spend a little bit more time. A lot of things were happening, not all good things. In fact, it was a very bad month for me. I've been flying for 35 years. I'm a Navy guy, carrier-based guy, land-based flying guy, airline flying guy. It's all I've ever done is fly. So now I'm starting to get into some other things and go different places, one of them being here. And this is where I decided in that time frame, about 10 years ago, to make my home. So on 2001 to August 2001, a lot of strange things were happening to me. And I'm not a superstitious guy, I'm an upfront guy, but things really changed, and in a bad way. Had a bad car accident, totaled my car, I got banged up, bruised up, okay, not the end of the world. Almost went off the runway at Chicago O'Hare International Airport on a mix-up with tower traffic control situation. By just a few feet, I didn't go off the side of the runway, so I was very fortunate trying to make a high-speed turnoff I shouldn't have tried to make under tower direction. Never let the tower fly your airplane. We all know that. Never let the tower fly your airplane. So I learned that one there. That one hit home to me real strong, so I'll never let that happen again, I can assure you. Okay, so I had a couple bad things happen. I fell off a ladder, hurt myself. Things were so bad that at the end of August, I'm in Washington, D.C., I always stopped in once a week to Army-Navy Country Club in Arlington to see my friends, a lot of retired Navy guys. I didn't show up. I spent 2 days, the last 2 days of the month of August in my house, and I would not come out till the month was over. I wanted it behind me. So when I did come out in early September, the first couple of days of September, a dear friend of mine, Pat Peterson, said, "Hey, where the hell you been? We haven't seen you 4 days. We had the big Friday night round table session. Where were you?" I said, "Pat, I had such a bad month, I can't begin to tell you. Everything's going wrong. I stayed in the house. I want the month over with. It's over. It's September now. I'm coming out." I said, "I got to tell you something. I got a real bad feeling. I got a bad feeling that something really bad is about to happen." September 3rd. Along comes September 10th, 2001. I'm coming out on the 11th to Las Vegas. I booked my flights. There was a lot of flights. Hey, how am I going to get out here? One was Flight 77, leaving Washington Dulles, which was my first choice, which I booked myself on. Why? Open first class. I can fly to LA, quick connect to Las Vegas, and I'm here. But then I saw something I didn't see. Remember National Airlines, your airline, our airline, Las Vegas? 757 nonstop DCA into Las Vegas. I said, well, maybe I should give that a shot. I can get the jump seat and I can get it out here. All the Vegas flights are full, so I wasn't sure. So I said, well, I couldn't make up my mind at 10 o'clock at night, so I'll go to bed, I'll wake up, I'll have it figured out in the morning. Get up in the morning, I'm showering, I'm thinking about it. Can't make up my mind. Should I go to Dulles 77 or National? I get dressed, still can't make up my mind. My bags are packed, it's 6:30 in the morning, I walk downstairs, I'm thinking of it, I'm trying to walk out the door. I will never forget this one snapshot in my life, and that was this. I got to the door, put my bags down, I had my hand out to the doorknob, and I said, damn it, This ain't like me not to be able to make a decision. Which airport am I going to? 20 minutes this way, 20 minutes that way. Had my hand out to the doorknob and said, I'm not opening this doorknob until I make a decision. And I have to say, my own laziness saved my life that morning, I believe, because they have the people mover at Dulles that you have to get on. So I had to get on a bus, had to go through security, had to go to people mover, all this stuff. And out of laziness, I said, I think I'll go to National and give it a shot on National Airlines. 8:25, I checked, 8:15, I'm all checked in. They had a seat, the captain, Captain Dave from National Airlines, great guy, put me in first class. We take off, beautiful day. Never saw a more clear day. Everything's just great. It's 8:35 in the morning. I leaned back when all at once one of the flight attendants came and shook me. They said, excuse me, the captain would like to see you back in the cockpit. Could you come back up there? I said, well, sure. This is very unusual. Usually they don't want to be bothered. I got back up, I get in the cockpit. I says, yes, sir. I says, what's going on? He says, Rod, could you do me a favor? Could you get your bags and could you please come back up here to the cockpit? I says, well, of course. I went back to get my bags, and I'm all along thinking, I've never seen this or heard of this. Something's wrong. I hope I didn't do something to make the captain mad. But I got my bags, and when I came up in there, him and the first officer were talking, and he just put his hand up. And I'll never forget the first sign that something was wrong. He turned to me when he had a second. He said, Rod, one of your airplanes, American Airlines, just flew into the World Trade Center. I said, what? I said, you mean crash? He says, yeah, just now. He says, and you have another flight that's in front of us that had taken off about 12 minutes earlier than us out of Dulles, Flight 77. He said, they're not talking to anybody. They're off course. Air Traffic Control Center asked us to get a hold of them. They literally had turned around, were on their way, and had gone right past us coming back. I'm standing there, and then all at once all hell really broke loose on the radios. He called up the first flight attendant. We have a national emergency, and we're all going to land, and we ain't turning around and coming back. And it came down to this. Captain briefed the flight attendants, 3 males and 2 ladies in the back. You've got the back. You're on your own. The store will not come back open. If anybody gets up, you got to tell them to sit down, and they're not to get up. I'll make the announcement about a national emergency. Not going to tell them what it is, and we're going to land. Then he turned and he said, Rod, you're staying up here. He says, and you are here to guard the door. Watch the door. And I says, okay, Captain. Then I said, your axe? He said, oh, turn to the first officer. There's a crash axe up in the cockpit. He says, give him the axe. And I'm standing there in the cockpit with an axe in my hand, and I had to ask the captain, and I asked him straight up. I says, I've got this axe. I said, with your permission, anybody's coming through the door, I'm swinging to kill, right for the head. Do I have your permission? He says, you do it. And what I remember is this, 3 things I want to share with you personally, so your feelings can come into play here. 3 things hit me. Spent the next 45 minutes to an hour standing at the door of the 757 with an axe in my hand, looking out the peephole. 3 things hit me. The first one, I have to admit, a tinge of fear came over me first. I says, is this really happening? And right now, I don't have time to think of it. I got to get my backbone up. My second feeling was anger. It goes back to a long way, all these troubles we've had in the Middle East and all this stuff. And here they are, going to come over here, and people are going to hurt us. I got a little mad. Third thing was disbelief. The disbelief for me came to this, and this is what I really want to share with you. And I want to thank the Colonel back here for standing up here, because this comes into play. We have the best equipment in the world and the best people, Colonel, and I want to thank you. What you showed me up here, you were ready to do a job with the best equipment, and you're the best there is. And we know we have that capability. But I have to tell you, looking out that door, I spent 29 years in the Navy. I flew off 4 different aircraft carriers, commanded a Navy squadron, an air wing, and it all meant nothing. 29 years deploying all over the world meant nothing. All the best equipment meant nothing. Because as I'm looking out that peephole, I thought of one thing only. When they come, It's a knife fight with an axe fight, hand to hand. And what I couldn't believe is that I spent all these years in the service out here trying to protect our country, all of us, and it's going to come down to 35,000 feet over our own skies with the best equipment in the world to save thousands of Americans' lives right now, and it may happen right here. So I'm going to end this story, basically. I can say a lot more, but I want to say this. The president's taken a real beating about Iraq and a lot of these other things that have happened. We can all have our decisions and beliefs on where that all stands, but he said something that hits home to me. We're fighting them over there, so we don't have to fight them here. And as I looked out that peephole, believe me, I know what he meant. We don't ever need to have this happen again. And I want to say, they blame the president, they blame Bill Clinton, everybody's blaming. I'll tell you where the blame lies, this is my opinion, because it wasn't even 2 years earlier when the passenger Bill of Rights came out, people were mad about air traffic control delays. No more hot meals on the airplane. They're not being told what's really happening. The airlines are lying to us. 1,300-page documents went up to Capitol Hill talking about the passenger Bill of Rights and all the things they want to have. Nothing about security. Then came 9/11. So there's a lesson learned for all of us here, that we can have the best equipment, we need to protect what we have. Not be so much worried about what we're going to have, and never assume that again. And I just wanted to pass that story on. It's a personal story that a lot of this, my best friends, even my family, I haven't told to, but it still shakes me up. I'm still trying to figure out at 6:30 in the morning when I had my hand on that doorknob, the decision I had to make was my life decision right there. But I think it was made for this. It was made for me so I can come here and be with you folks, be in Las Vegas, and enjoy your company. So I want to thank you. God bless you. Thank you